So, James, before we hit record, you were telling me that you were afraid to do this movie.
Honestly, Sean, I hear that you're trying to set up a bit, but
There's no
peeved.
bit.
I'm pretty peeved with what you just said before we went live. Like
What did
it's
I just
kind of
say?
you said that you went through film school at a higher level than I did
No,
because you were
I didn't say
more
higher.
you just said
I
higher was
said
the
at a
word.
more snobby level.
Higher level, a more snobby level is what you said. Because, and I quote, I did the Russian cinema module.
I
That was
did
your
do that.
argument. You did the Russian cinema module, therefore you did film studies at a higher level than I did.
To be fair, I you have been championing Marvel and Mission Impossible for the past couple of weeks.
I have not been championing Marvel. I liked one Marvel, and yes, I'll champion Mission Impossible, and we'll come to that probably in a future episode
Yeah,
because
well,
it's rad.
definitely in the episode that comes out after this.
Yeah, but I've also been championing other shit.
To be fair, you did go to Cannes and watch like 20 movies there, so
Yeah, yeah. Have you? Yeah, Dick.
I thought it was quite obvious that that was a joke.
No, and it's going to color our entire conversation today is going to be colored by the fact that Sean basically just thinks he's more intellectual than I am. Whether or not that's true is entirely
I
irrelevant to the
don't
fact that
think
he
I'm
said
more
it out
intellect.
loud.
I think I have a snobbier taste in movies.
I see now you're self-deprecating, but that's one of
But
those. No,
actually,
but
do you know
that's
what happens with this show? Because I'm so just to give you massive sway over what we pick to watch. Um, and we pick a lot of mainstream current movies. I don't look like I have a snobby or an impressive movie taste. I just look like I haven't seen any movies.
no. See, you're doing this thing now, right? And I'm going to call you out here. It's something that people do when someone says, "I just have a snobbier taste than you do." That is the most half-assed self-deprecation that actually means I watch movies you've never heard of. Like
But
I
you've
have
heard
to.
all of the movies.
No, I know, but when people say I have snobby taste, what they actually mean is I have really good taste, but like I know that you'll feel inferior next to me, so it's embarrassing. That's kind of people mean when they say that. And it's a little bit what you meant as well, I think.
No,
Snob.
you couldn't be more wrong.
Well, now I'm
Um,
spiraling. So shall we record a podcast?
Look, you may have chosen to infer that, but it was never implied.
This has been a bit of a sore
Um,
spot for me, Sean. I don't know if you've realized.
well, the good thing is about today's episode, neither of us need to feel. Actually, no, this is going to make us feel insecure because we're not going to feel like we're equipped to talk about the movie. So that's not a good thing.
I mean, I for one feel totally equipped to talk about the movie. So maybe that's just your, insecurities shining through. Who can say?
Guess I'm just maybe more aware of my limits, but anyway, should we get on with the show?
Let's get on with it. Welcome to Love It or Slate It with Sean and James, a movie podcast all about movies that we like, don't like, or kinda don't. But our movie podcast, unlike the other 3,700,043 other ones out there, has a slight twist to it. Sean, what is our slight little twist?
30 minutes. That's all there is to it.
This week, I feel like you've kind of not really come fully ready to record a podcast this week, Sean. That's the vibe I'm getting. Normally, you do a little bit more than that, and I don't sound like such a twat.
We explain it every week. If they're really interested, they can just listen to our last intro.
No, I know, but yeah, okay. I just feel like the Wong Kar-wai fans, I don't know if they have a name, the Wongers or something like that, but the Wong Kar-wai stans are going to be coming into this one
Well,
en
what was it you
masse.
called the Bong Joon-ho fans? The
Headbangers.
head bongers? These can
Yeah,
be the head wongers.
that doesn't really work.
Okay.
No, I mean, I don't mean to like put you down. I just don't think it
No, how do you
works.
mean it?
Do you want to hit record and then we can talk about the actual very positive, exciting, wonderful movie we're talking about this week and actually get a bit of
Yes.
positivity going?
Fuck, I opened the
Maybe.
wrong app. I opened the notes app.
Do you have any notes written?
Oh yeah.
Do you have notes? Do you do your podcast notes on the notes app?
I do my initial thoughts either in a separate notepad or on the notes app.
Okay.
And then I just fill this with bullet points of I have like 13 here.
That looks
I
very
think
smart.
We'll probably get to touch on about two of them.
I'm
That's
I'm pre
usually how it goes.
I'm pretty intimidated by that list. I'm not gonna lie. If
It's
you could
not
see,
one of my notes is literally just music question mark.
okay, but like
Don't be intimidated.
at the risk of overreading into it, within the context of this film, music question mark is actually like quite a profound question. It's quite major, like
It would
because
be
you're
if it was
right.
someone more intelligent than me asking it, but no, it's not
I
profound. I
I
just
hate to
thought we probably
disappoint, but
need to talk about the music here.
yeah,
Um, so
it's
the
the
question
main.
mark is to indicate the probably.
Have you put on the timer yet? Can we like get
Sorry.
into it? No, I just
Yeah,
want to
one
say if I
sec.
can reply about the music, or should we just like, because we've gotten
Timer is
criticism.
now started. Reply.
Because we've gotten criticism recently for going over 30 minutes on every single episode so far. But I was getting the
Yeah.
bus with someone today who listened to an episode and said, they're always at least 40. I don't know why you lie. And like,
Yeah,
fair.
because obviously we talk for at least 5 minutes at the beginning,
Yeah.
hit record,
Yeah.
and talk at least another 10 minutes at the end. There's 30 minutes in the middle. If you'd like, we can start time stamping the 30-minute part so you don't have to listen to the
Mm,
stuff, the
Actually,
bookends.
maybe a shout, but that's not podcast talk. That's like admin meeting talk. So I would argue that prior to some criticisms that
Can
we
we get
have,
like a
and
chat GPT to listen to our podcast and draw up notes on it? And then we can just put that out on a blog instead of a podcast?
no, I, I don't want to do that. Please. I would be really upset if
We
I
can
did that.
send it as a daily newsletter. Well, weekly, sorry, because we don't do daily podcasts.
I was
What movie are we talking about?
sorry. I had an anecdote, but I can't share it because it shames someone. But it's someone who's in a profession where they definitely shouldn't be using ChatGPT because it's a creative profession and they're using ChatGPT to do the
Sure.
creativity for them. And they just casually admitted this in a group chat, and I was like, "You, but it's your entire profession is creative writing, and you've just admitted that chat is creative writing. Like, what? They also call it chat. That was
Yeah, it's called
crazy.
chat.
It's not called chat. It's called
When you start talking to Chat GPT, how do you open the conversation? You
I
say,
have
"Hi,
never
chat."
spoken to ChatGPT. That's not true. I did it once to see what it was like because I wanted to write something about it. So I listened to it. I did it then like as like field research, but I'd never use it. I think it's
You've never used Chat GPT.
not like except to see how it worked. Like I've used it to see to see the UI and see how like what it actually is, how it functions. But I've never used it as a tool ever, and I never will.
You definitely will.
I'm very, very, very. We should. This isn't the time, but I'm very
Yeah,
against
sorry.
it.
We can
And I'm
talk about
very
ChatGPT at the end, so stay tuned for
actually,
that.
really, we should talk about it in our next step on in the next
Yeah,
episode, which
sorry,
is
we'll
on
talk about it in the next episode. That'll kill some time in that one.
that. We will not need to kill time. Shall we get on, or shall we actually reset the timer
We're
a little bit,
talking
maybe?
about a movie by what?
Nothing. I was go
We're
go.
talking about In the Mood for Love. The lot we've been planning to do this episode for at least 4 weeks, and we're finally doing it. Fun fact: did you know this movie was originally called A Story of Food, and then that script evolved into what we currently have, In the Mood for Love. The name In the Mood for Love, the English, which is the English name of it, only came about quite close to its release in Cannes, that place where you were recently. Um,
Yes.
because Wong Kar-wai was listening to a song called In the Mood for Love and decided that's a great name for my movie. It was originally called something like Secrets in English,
Great.
which is not a good name.
It fits thematically. It just isn't very, sexy. In the Mood for Love is a very
Yeah,
sexy title. Like that's
yeah,
very alluring.
that's top
I
100
suppose we should
list.
talk about first of all. I'm assuming people know what the film is about. It's a pretty simple premise. It's two neighbors who find out their spouses are having an affair, and through dealing with that, they become incredibly intimately close to each other. It's never like a particularly physical film. It's just all about sort of
It's
attraction and
erotic
space
without even a
and
kiss.
yeah, but it's outrageously erotic. Like it's positively steamy just through like looks and conversation, the kind of another kind of stuff that you
And the style of it.
yeah, and not even just in a poetic sense. I think a key thing about this film is it's really broken out of the art house mold like it shows
Yeah,
in cinemas on Valentine's
I
Day.
did get some flack for saying, no, actually, a flack was directed at you for saying that this was an art house movie.
Who directed that at me?
I can't name my sources or
I
whatever
think
journalists say.
I'll put it to them. I think it is an art house film, but it's that rare thing that really strays the line in quite a beautiful way, where it definitely does have um experimental and avant-garde conventions, rather anti-conventions to it, but the core soul of it is so accessible that all the experimental elements don't really matter, right? Like it is very structurally peculiar. It's just not oppressive, it's inviting, I think.
I wouldn't say it's inviting. I
I think
think
it's very
that, for me, there's three parts.
yeah.
There's the opening, which is not inviting because it's quite confusing.
Oh, interesting.
It very much kind of throws you into the movie, right?
I don't know. I think it's
And you get big time jumps that are a little bit confusing.
well, no, because the time jumps are arguably quite clunkily marked with the black cards. No,
With the what cards?
there's like title cards
Oh,
that
yeah,
drop
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's those time jumps, but there's time jumps within those
Oh,
locations.
I understand. Yeah. No,
You
I
know, in the
think
very beginning when they have the house visit, and then the next scene, it just like as though
yes,
it's part of the same scene, cuts into them moving into the houses. And then there's ones where like the thing with the rice cooker. I think there's a rice cooker part with a big time jump. I think anyway, there's something where, she says to say something to her husband at some point in the future, and the next scene is him saying that to the husband in the
yes,
future.
yes.
And it doesn't really feel like they indicated the fact that we're now at least a week or two into the future.
No, but I think that is the element of it that is particularly sort of avant-garde or
You
experimental
think
cinema,
an
non-commercial
ambiguous sense
cinema.
of time is intentional?
But I think it's less that it's ambiguous. I think that that's less the interesting part. It's more that this sort of time slip, where it almost becomes like a long form montage in a way,
Yeah,
is anchored in the chemistry and the looks between these two people so much so that it doesn't really matter how much time you've lost in the middle. You instantly understand their connection every time you see them together. Every
sure.
glance catches you up, and that's
I
what
didn't
makes
feel
it
it at the
so
beginning.
achievable. Okay.
It wasn't like a from first sight type of thing.
No, but that's kind of the romance of it as well, no? Like
Yeah,
love at first sight's pretty trite a lot of the time. Not always, but a
yeah.
lot of the time. It's but I think the film, without having to sort of do a love at first sight thing, the film plays those first 15 minutes very well, where a lot of it is parallel shots of the two of them, right? Like the opening, not quite the opening, but when the furniture's being moved in, and you see
Yeah.
them both moving down the hallway past the furniture in sort of separate strands, but doing the same action, and it's all very well matched up. And then you get that first glance on the alley steps about 15 minutes in, which is just absolutely incredible because it spends the
Hmm.
full. Is it Yumeji's theme? What's the song called again?
I don't
I
know
wrote
the
it down.
song, but it's a great
It's
song.
called Yumeji's theme. Yeah. So
Okay.
you get the full first play of that as it builds and see them look about their day, and that you finally see
Ah,
them
it
coming
was
past the
a
stairwell.
song
Yes, for a different
composed
film.
for the movie.
No, for a different film called Yumeji.
Oh, okay. Ah, that's interesting.
We'll come to that, but my point
Because
is
I'm
that
thinking of his other movie, Chungking Express,
yeah,
where the music is all the soundtrack is pretty much all made from like pop culture songs,
like Tarantino. Yeah, that's it.
like Tarantino,
That was a
who
that yeah
listed, yeah.
yeah.
What did
It's a
he say
joke.
about Chungking Express? It was his top 20 of since 2000 or something.
I mean,
I think it's in one of his lists.
there's worse choices. But just to round off my point about the opening, I think the fact that you get these two parallel lives building and building through the Yumeji's theme first sequence as well, where you're waiting for the convergence almost, and then it's that literally zero point 0.5 of a second glance as they pass in the steps. And there's another one
Yeah.
later where they look for longer on the same steps, and that's a reference back. But the build and build to
Hmm.
that tiny little glance, and it by building to it so much and by running these two parallel strands, there's so much anticipation built into when they're going to meet that that 0.5 second glance becomes important, right? And that's
Yeah.
like, and then obviously when you
Yeah,
watch
no,
it
I mean,
back
I
on a
agree that all
laptop,
the micro interactions are super
I
important,
think they're gorgeous. I think they're
but
just
I think they
absolutely
start
gobsmacking.
happening a little bit into the movie.
Well, the glance is the first one,
I felt the glance is the first one, is what you're saying.
but yeah, but
But they've had
it builds to
interactions
that.
before that.
Yes, but it's the first like sensual exchange. Like they're so because the steps and because
Actually, I
so
think
many of
he
the
looks at her in the first scene in a way that he notices her, I guess, in the
no, for
first
sure.
scene, right? And then
Yeah,
after that, she has like expresses like no interest in him for a while. He kind of pulls back in terms of expressing
yeah,
any interest, and then there's the scene you talk about.
yeah, and it's of course, and this is a major part of the film as well because it's just that those alley steps, which recur a few times, are such a tight space, and so much of the film is in these really sort of tight corridors and sort of tight little corner rooms where we're only peeking in through doorways and shelves. It all feels so small and so sort of crammed together that the space between them becomes almost massive in contrast to the size of the room. You know, that kind of
Oh,
thing where it's like no, but how far apart they are or how close they are matters so much from scene to scene. It's so well blocked and framed in that way. And
mm-hmm,
that passage on the alleyway where they glance for such a short amount of time, they're like almost nose to nose. And that's
mm-hmm.
the first sort of tease of intimacy of many, many teas of intimacy to come. But I think it's such like a wonderful first breath of what's happening with the two of them. Does that kind of make sense, or am I very wanky?
No, that's not wanky at all. I have a question. You
Yeah.
have seen the movies by Richard Linklater before, the Before trilogy.
Yes.
I
Very
think
different.
people really love those movies because they're really easy to feel and relate to the feelings in those movies, right?
Sure.
Like I think that carries them into the kind of the status that they are currently appreciated at. It's just people relate to them beyond most movies.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're very naturalistic. They're very improvised. But I think, yeah, go on.
This movie has this like a not dissimilar idea behind it, right? In terms of it's the love
That's a nice
affair,
point.
right? But I don't know if most as many people feel this movie like they feel those movies.
Well, I think, and this is, I'm not getting totally locked in on your friend's comment about this not being art house, which I think it is. I do think that the
I agree
reason
it's a bit
why,
art house, but I do think
but
there's like some accessibility in the middle was what I was trying to say earlier.
there is, but
But the
yeah,
either side I think is a bit less accessible.
what I'd point as the difference between the before trilogy, which are probably more commercial and more DVD friendly than in The Mood for Love, is
Sure.
that while the before trilogy, as you say, is kind of feeding you relatable romance, like it's all still it's the same idea where you don't see much. It's all just in their connection and their conversation and their looks, right? It's the same set of principles, really. But
Yeah.
while the before trilogy is all about in the real time moment, feeding you every common trait between them, right? All their common
Yeah.
interests and their common agreements and disagreements. That's all very much put on the table. It's kind of an outpour of relationship fodder. While The Mood for Love goes the other way, it's obviously there's the ill-defined timeline which you've alluded to, and also the
Yeah.
fact that most of what they talk most of what they talk about is other people or what they're having or what they're eating or whatever, and it's a lot more natural, and the connection elements and the reasons why they connect are a lot less spoken aloud, I think. Right?
Yeah.
You're picking up on the connection more through signals than through them explicitly saying, I want to write a poem about you or whatever the fuck. Right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
think that's
Okay.
kind of maybe the difference? That'd be my feeling on what divides commercial versus something a little bit more out there and lofty.
Yeah, but I think does it make it a less accessible movie to feel?
No, but I
Like you
think
seem to really have connected with the movie. I will say like I didn't connect with it as much as I did even Chungking Express.
okay.
The
See,
second story in Chungking Express,
I
it
should
was the one
clarify
that really did it for me.
I haven't seen Chunking Express. I should disclose that. So
That's okay.
there's a chance I'll love the other Wong Kar-wai films even more than this one. But I do
No, but it's
think,
really on it's more like the Before trilogy.
yeah,
Everything is more spoken, is more
okay.
felt. Characters are a lot more free.
And I love the Before trilogy. Like I say, both In the Mood for Love and Before Midnight would be in my top 20 films of the century, I would say. Probably.
Before Midnight
That's the
is
third
the
one.
third one.
The one where they're married and tired and they're kind of withered
Yeah.
down a little bit, and then they just and it's an hour and 20 minutes of pleasantries and then 40 minutes of the most horrible argument you've ever seen in that hotel room.
Yeah.
If you've yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just gloriously tragic, like property Grecian, all that kind of stuff. But I think In the Mood for Love is just play. It's the same idea with a very, very different, probably more sophisticated tool set. That'd be my feeling. I don't know about you.
Yeah. But it's funny to talk about it like this way, like uh you make it sound like it's all very tight and
Hmm.
intentional, which I'm sure it's intentional, but I don't know if you know much about how it was shot. It
Fif-
was
15 months, right?
it took a long time, yeah.
15 months. I think I
Yeah.
read there was like 30 hours of material, something close to that, that were and he
Ridiculous.
trickled it down. Yeah, which is
So again,
great.
and it was because he kind of has this style where he will start production with a script that's unfinished. He'll make massive changes. He'll It kind of seems like a maybe not as extreme, but kind of like Terrence Malick, where he'll like start filming the characters and then just start filming a bird or a tree or something.
Awesome.
It's not the same thing, but it's like almost like he's allowing himself intentionally to get distracted and see where thoughts go
Yeah,
while
I think
filming,
so.
which is something I guess, in most Western productions, you just don't have time or money to do.
No.
But I think is a lot more common in Eastern productions. Like I think Jackie Chan talked about it in terms of like kung fu movies. He was saying
Yeah.
that like those movies would never happen in the West because you guys are always so strict on your schedules and everything is super expensive. Whereas
Hmm.
back home, the way we would do it is like we would basically say we need to get this shot. We're gonna keep doing it until we get it right, and then we move on to the next one. There's none of this like compromise, like, oh, we didn't get the perfect one, but we'll, I don't know, figure it out in post or whatever, or we'll stitch things together. It's like we're going to take the time until we do it. And this movie feels like that. Apparently, it was an issue with the cinematographer, um,
He left,
Christopher
right?
Doyle.
Doyle, yeah.
He left, but I don't think there was too much bad blood. But I think he was kind of frustrated at like while he appreciated the style of this and this way of approaching filmmaking, I think he was finding it a bit tiresome having to re-record scenes time after time until it felt right for Wong Kar-wai,
Yeah.
which is understandable.
No, I mean, it's funnily enough, as you say, it's not Western, but it's almost the dark mirror inverse of what David Fincher does, where he does 100 takes
Yeah,
to get it exactly right. But for the
but
entirety,
not
but
he. I feel
for
like
the
Fincher
entire
does
opposite
it on a
reason.
technical level.
That's what I mean. It's for the opposite reason.
Yeah,
He wants it exactly one way. Wong Kar-wai hasn't decided how he wants it. And I think, and be it both are the same frustrating results,
yeah,
for a crew. I
yeah.
think it's quite funny.
At least with Fincher, you know that like there's some combination of actions that you can put together that will hit that mark. Whereas
Yeah,
if you don't, if the person is still figuring out what they want, that's going to be incredibly
yeah.
difficult.
But I do think as a result, and I think you might disagree, so I want to hear your thoughts on this. In the Mid for Love does feel very, very tight because he's so spoiled for what to include, and what he includes is essentially, I think he's quite harsh given it was 30 hours. Like, I think there's probably more relationship you could show, but
It
it
makes me a
kind of,
little bit confused by the third act
yeah, it's so
that
abrupt
is jumping, having big time jumps into the future.
because they're
Uh,
losing more and more time, and it just doesn't work. It's okay, go
okay, it worked for you.
speak. No, I want
No,
to hear
no,
you
I just
talk.
I felt that was I didn't quite get where that was going.
Okay.
What was your impression of that?
Um, time speeds up, right? There's the initial
Okay.
few months of courtship in
Yeah.
quotation marks, because obviously it's all um on
Yeah.
under the pretense of, well, first of all, I think our partners are cheating, and then let's act out their affair, and then let's act out how we confront them. It's all under the pretense of that, but it's still, I would say, defined as a courtship. And then as it becomes apparent it's not going to work out for various reasons, time starts to speed up and we lose more years. so that we can see them sort of experience regret and sort of as, becomes more and more of a memory. I think spending
Yeah,
so long on the initial burst of love,
yeah,
followed by such a quick and scattered sequence of scenes after that initial, fire is a
yeah.
really interesting way to tell an anti-love story, like a failed love story.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's kind of my
It's
read
I
on it.
guess it has the balls to do what Linklater didn't do.
Yeah, I mean,
He
I think that
continued
yeah.
to have them meet again, and then another love story, and then the one in the future.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm joking, right?
No, I don't think Wong Kar-wai would do it before sunset. I think
Yeah.
before sunrise is the beginning, middle, and end of that story for him. I think that's,
Yeah.
there's a case for that. Clearly made.
I had a question
Okay.
about their love story.
Yeah.
They clearly feel a lot for each other, but there's this incredible amount of restraint that they put on themselves.
Yes.
And a lot of it is to do with how they feel they will be perceived uh, by others um, for if they have an affair, I think.
Yeah.
Do you also think that a lot of that uh, criticism is not real because like all the other characters in this movie are incredibly flawed and these two characters like hold themselves to this insane standard, like moral standard, and just also just in how they're presented to the world. They're
Yeah.
almost like both of them are almost like perfect
Yeah.
as people. And there is the scene where Maggie Chung's which is Chan, Mrs. Chan, her landlady tells her that she shouldn't be seen going out so often or something without her husband or something like that. That's kind of like the one main occurrence where someone else
Yes.
passes some sort of judgment towards her. But I feel like they kind of hold themselves to a standard that doesn't exist for how to behave because they're both their partners are having affairs. You've got the landlady and his lord and lady. They're like gambling all night together, getting shit-faced drunk, and then they'll pass judgment about like
Yeah.
so they're all like a balls of contradiction. I mean, his co-worker is also a gambling addict. Um, so they place these restraints on themselves that really kind of fall apart if you're to compare them to any other character in the movie.
Yeah, I think that's I mean, I think that's a really good assessment. I think it's correct. I also think that's why they're almost first of all, it's what connects them. I also think it's what almost makes them the most flawed characters in the film. That sort of
Yeah,
pursuit and sort of reverence for nobility, right? Turns them
yeah,
to shut-ins. And they end up being sort of like sitting alone, knowing their partners are cheating on them and sort of just becoming sort of pacified figures. And they end
yeah,
up linking over that and they become stronger over that. But I think the idea of them being perfect is something they strive for more than the film thinks they are, if that makes sense. They
yeah,
are trying to do the right thing. It's not necessarily the film advertising it as the right thing, but
yeah,
they connect over trying to be the two noble people in a very ignoble world, I think is kind of their circumstances. That'd be my feeling on it. But I think you're dead on. I think there is something about the world around them being a little bit more lewd and crooked and a little bit more daring than they are. They're kind of
yeah,
outcasts for that, right? That they're outcasts for being sensible.
yeah. But
Yeah.
then again, I mean, so Wong Kar-wai has said something about. I'm just going to find this quote. He said something about Tony Leung's character, uh, Mr. Chow.
Hmm.
Um, he's a very handsome guy, isn't he?
Good God. Good God.
Like both
Now,
of them,
Maggie Chung
incredibly
as well. I was going
good-looking
to say, I
people.
mean, two of the most.
Yeah,
I think to be honest, it's probably a huge part of why the film has done so well in a Western sense is that they're just outrageously beautiful people. Like
yeah.
that is a factor, I would say. Ethan Hawke and
Oh,
Judy
where's
Delpy, I love them both. They're not comparing.
are you starting to get harsh? He
No,
had
I'm just
this, yeah, here it is. Here's the quote. The
yeah.
role of Tony in this movie, this is Wong Kar-wai saying this. Um, the role of Tony reminds me of Jimmy Stewart's in Vertigo by Alfred
Ooh,
Hitchcock. there is a dark side to his this character. I think it's very interesting that most of the audience prefers to think that this is a very innocent relationship. These are the good guys because their spouses are the first ones to be unfaithful and they refuse to be. Nobody sees any darkness in these characters, and yet they are meeting in secret to act out fictitious scenarios about of confronting their spouses and of having an affair. I think this happens because the face of Tony Leung is so sympathetic. Just imagine if it was John Malkovich playing this role. You would think this guy's really weird. It's the same in Vertigo. Sorry, where am I? Oh
Yes,
yeah.
yes, of
Everybody
course.
thinks James Stewart is a nice guy, so nobody thinks that his character is actually very sick.
Well, Vertigo, I'd argue by the end of Vertigo, everyone knows he's sick. The
Yes,
whole the
but
whole weapon of that film is it weaponizes Jimmy Stewart against you. That's the whole conceit,
yeah,
really, right? Well,
sure.
here I think if In the Mood for Love had a third act swerve like that, then absolutely Tony, we'd all come away thinking Mr. Chow was the villain, but it
But
doesn't
do you
quite
think
go
there is
there.
a darker side to his character that goes a little unnoticed? I
Oh,
don't see it.
I no, what I see is I think affairs are. I think the dark side of us as viewers is that when it's on the outside, affairs are quite enticing and exciting, and we love affairs. I think when it's not you, when you're a third party and it's not hurting you, we do have a adoration and an
Certainly
obsession with
in
affairs.
entertainment, an affair is
In
just like,
entertainment, no, in entertainment, also in reality TV, in celeb affairs, all that kind of stuff. It is a very
sure, okay, yeah.
attractive and quite,
It has to be
um,
a good few uh phases removed.
sure. But I think at
You
that
don't want to hear that
stage,
your best friend is cheating on their
no,
partner.
100%. But once it's removed from you, it is almost quite titillating in a way. It's quite, it's almost in its own dark way. One of the more romantic ideas is that of the love fueled by betrayal, almost kind of thing. There's something very Shakespearean about it, all that kind of
Okay,
thing. But I think even though, yes, what they're doing is immoral, they've somehow found a justification for it that makes it moral because the other people did it first. So it kind of,
sure, but yeah, I
I
guess
think,
it's the idea of the emotional affair. It's like having a
I,
work wife.
yeah, well, I think that this is like, yeah, having like they have a work marriage, like it goes a step further. They have work
Yeah.
sex, um, but I
And they
think
literally do I guess their affair is that they create something together, which is the comic, right? It's a comic of some
yes,
type.
yeah,
Or
but I
is it a book? Or is it a
no, it's a
I
comic,
don't
yeah, it's
know.
a graphic thing.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
but I
That's kind of
think
like their actual like the sex of the affair, I think, is the creation of something together. That's
yeah,
maybe a bit artsy fartsy to say,
no, no,
but
no, I I get you because I think the whole idea is that of In the Mood for Love and the whole conceit of what they do is that it's kind of a morally justified affair in a way. Like, yes, affairs are inherently a, a sinful thing to do, but they found a way to
sure.
make this film kind of portrays it as almost a pure romance, right? They're creating,
Yeah.
they're collaborating, they're working together, they're connecting emotionally rather than physically. It kind of makes affairs acceptable. That's kind of what it presents, right?
Yeah.
As close to an acceptable affair as you can ever get is kind of what the film is trying to push forward. And then they're still punished for it because they can't actually bring it together at the end. They can't. What's the word?
Yeah.
What's the word? Sorry, I'm losing it.
Consummate.
It's consummate. Yeah, they can't ever consummate the affair.
Okay.
So it still ends tragically, even though you kind of are along for the ride, right? Does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, no, no. I mean, I think I would say it's quite an interesting movie to talk about. I do feel like the one of the most common criticisms I've seen leveled against it is that it's a little bit boring. That's what I
Ooh,
was trying to get at when I was saying, do you feel it as much as you feel those other movies that maybe are considered in the same breath as this one? Um,
I feel it. I'll be
I would
honest.
say, well,
I feel no, I do
yeah,
feel I feel it in every scene. I think the energy. It's so
okay,
voyeuristic as well, like all those peeks through bookshelves and through doorways and all the close-ups of hands as they're walking and like it just knows how to frame every single shot as some kind of stage in their in their budding connection. That'd be my feeling.
So you
I'm
think
always engrossed by it. Always.
the people who find it boring are just boring themselves?
No, I think I don't know why it resonates with me particularly, but I think it really does. I'm never not engaged in whatever stage of the relationship we're at with the top
Yeah.
with the slipping timeline. That'd be my feeling, but I totally appreciate that it is one type of way of telling it. It's a very particular way of telling a love story, and it's not for
Also,
everyone. That's fine.
massively benefits from the second viewing
Oh God, yeah,
because there's so
yeah,
much stuff that takes a while to wrap. You know, when you're reading a book and you go through that often in the first few pages, that just confusion because you don't fully know which character is which yet. You don't fully understand where we are yet. Because books
yes,
tend not to just say we this person is so and so and we are here. They tend to just throw you into a
yes.
scene. Oh fuck, there's our timer.
Finish the
Okay, I've
thought.
stopped the timer.
It's
I'm
okay.
gonna finish that thought. This movie
We
has
talk
like a
shit. That's
similar
fair.
thing. You don't see it much in movies. I don't know why. Movies really fucking spell shit out for you in that first act.
Western films
Like
do.
what?
Western films do.
Yeah, that's true. But even like it's. I feel like mainstream books still leave a bit more like for you to figure out than mainstream movies do.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Anyway, this one definitely leaves you confused for a while, even especially with the scenes where they're acting out scenes from what they imagine would have happened with their partners.
But that's quite deliberate. That's quite post.
Oh, that's completely deliberate. And I
That's
think it's even
shattering that
deliberate
fourth wall a little bit. Yeah,
before that, where there's kind of a confusion as to where am I? Like,
yeah.
what point in time am I at?
I'd love to see it for the first time again. It's one of the you know they ask you if you could like wipe your memory and see film for the first time again. What would you see? This would be up there for me.
I think I prefer it after the fact.
No, but I the as you say the bait and switch of not understanding what's happening in that first fake affair scene and having
I'm easily
that.
frustrated by movies.
But having the meta game of trying to figure out what's actually happening here in the same at the same time they are
Hmm.
is very compelling, I think. And then obviously the
Sure.
second viewing is a lot more academically fulfilling. But that first
Yeah.
viewing, sort of the whirlwind confusion of that is something I'd love to feel more. I'd love to be able to get that again, but you can't. It's very much a like the film itself, like
I
the
guess I
romance
get more
itself.
more I get more out of that like viewing where it comes together for me.
I think
Um,
both are totally valid. Yeah.
the one movie that really got me in that sense is Inherent Vice. The first time I
Oh,
watched Inherent Vice, I remember I literally like grabbed a pillow and had to scream into the pillow. I was so frustrated at not understanding
okay.
what the fuck is happening in this movie.
Hmm.
And then I must have read something somewhere where they were basically just like, the point is that you don't know what the fuck is happening because neither does the main character. He's
Yeah.
just like navigating his way through this and you're on his journey. And
Yeah.
then it was like, now it's one of my favorite movies.
I really don't like that film. Just to say. It's my least favorite Paul Thomas
Really?
Anderson by like I can I don't think it's interesting enough to justify the whole protagonist is confused, so are we. Here are some zany images. Here's a chocolate banana. Here's I just think it's trying very, very, very hard to be peculiar, and as a result isn't peculiar at all in any kind of compelling way. That's my feel. But
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about that movie because
I
I think
loathe
it's
it.
my favorite PTA movie.
It's not.
I think it's in my top 10 list.
Films.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean. Okay, fine. We'll talk about it. It's not the best PTA. The best PTA is and will probably always be Magnolia.
I haven't seen it. I'll
Watch
watch
Magnolia.
Magnolia and you can rewatch Inherent Vice and then we'll talk
Great.
about both.
We'll have a PTA battle episode
Yeah,
where we just
exactly. A
change
PTA
PTA.
podcast.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. How do you feel
There you
about
go.
today? Do you think we were very highbrow?
You should have seen this.
I
This
this
is
might
the
be
level I want us to be operating on every day
this might
when
I
we
mean you
record an
obviously
episode.
you were pushing to this film for weeks. Did this chat live up to that for you?
I wasn't pushing. This was a recommendation.
Was it?
Yeah,
Did I
somebody said that we should do this movie.
did I know that?
I
I don't
think
think
I
I
told
did.
you that.
I just thought you really loved this movie, and then I was surprised to find out I seem to like it
No,
more
I
than you
hadn't
do.
seen it when I said let's do this movie.
What?
Yeah, no, I watched this movie and two other Wong Kar-wai movies in anticipation of this episode. I hadn't seen any of his movies.
That would have changed this how I approach this so much. I've seen it. I got a ton of time. Oh my God, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. You know what I was saying earlier about it just looks like I haven't seen movies on this podcast.
Yeah, we can cut all
Now
this.
that
Don't worry. So hang on. So how many times did you watch it? Just once or twice?
I watched this twice, and
Okay.
then I watched
In
Chungking
quick,
Express, and then I watched Fallen Angels,
you
which
watched
was
this.
meant to.
I really want to see Fallen Angels. I do. I do. Um.
I would watch Chungking Express before Fallen Angels because I think
Okay.
it's better.
Okay.
And I think the second story of Chungking Express is the best one.
Okay.
There's two stories in that movie.
Did you watch In the Mood for Love twice, almost back to back, like in quite quick succession?
No, no, oh, well, yeah, like a matter of weeks in between.
That's interesting. Did that,
Why?
well, like how significantly did it rise in your estimation the second time?
I was just happy to fucking understand a lot of
Okay.
stuff I missed in the first viewing.
It's kind of like Oppenheimer.
No, Oppenheimer is a
That's a
very
joke.
easy first viewing.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
There's a
I have
little bit of like kind
I
of
have
like
friends who are pretty
confusion,
fucking
but
I have friends who are pretty fucking thick, Sean, I'll be honest. There are people I've seen Oppenheimer with who have disappointed me. That's all I'll say. And I saw it a few times, so none of them can figure out that I mean them. But people have disappointed
I
me.
no, there is a little bit of confusion because Oppenheimer is like you were saying earlier, kind of like a really fast moving montage of a movie.
Yeah.
Um, so like it does move a little bit quickly, but I don't think it reaches a level of confusion as to what's happening to warrant being totally. Oh, maybe with the legal proceeding part.
Yeah, I think it takes about 20 minutes to actually properly orient you and where because obviously it kind of winds up three or four timelines at once and then lets them go. Like
Yeah,
right, so you're kind of watching three or four like it kind of starts at four different starting points and you're playing out like four different storylines at different points in time, like a layer cake. I think it takes about 20 minutes to figure out where the three or four stories are in the timeline, right? There's young Oppenheimer going to the bomb, there's
yeah,
Oppenheimer at the Inquisition, and there's Strauss at the thing. Trying to
yeah.
orient yourself and where all of these are relative to each other takes a little bit of time.
Sure, yeah, but
But that's
it's
fine.
very much achievable within the
It's a
movie.
very easy film to watch, and casting all the celebrities and all the roles helps also orient you a bit as well. Like you don't
Yeah, a
need to
little
know
facial recognition.
is that the guy who's the head of the school? No, 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 that's Josh. Fucking what's his face? You know,
Yeah.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah, right.
Okay, I like the
And
way
so
you picked him as the big celebrity,
no, but a lot of
not
them like
Robert Downey
like
Jr.
no, but you know, like obviously Strauss and Oppenheimer, you're gonna no matter what. But a lot of these guys like they pop up across timelines, and
Yeah,
having like everyone has an identifiable face really helps orient you in that film. I think it is a major part of it. Like when Kenneth Branagh pops up about 2 hours in at the Christmas party, you
yeah.
remember him as the lecturer who did a guest thing 2 hours ago because it's Kenneth
What does he
Branagh.
play? Niels
Oh, what's
Bohr?
his
Is
name?
he Niels Bohr?
Niels Bohr. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you might not necessarily remember if it was just any random actor. You might necessarily remember him from that lecture 2 hours ago, right?
Well, I think we just all need to get better at being comfortable being confused.
That's that. Yeah, I mean,
And
I
I don't mean
sure.
like being wrong. I mean not fully understanding something. That's
Yes,
okay.
yes,
Yet.
yeah,
Oh, do we
yeah,
just doing what the Meghan Markle thing
yeah.
on her podcast where she goes, yet. Have you seen that?
Nope. I don't
It's
listen
all
to Meghan
about like
Markle's
goals and
podcast.
success,
Okay.
and
Do
there's
you
this
listen?
kind of slightly cringy sequence where they're going about like, I haven't achieved so and so yet. I
Do you
haven't
listen?
done this yet.
Do you
No, I've
listen to
just seen
Meghan
a
Markle's
clip of it.
podcast? Okay,
No, we'll
cool.
stay out of the Meghan Markle debate on our show, I think.
I'm pro.
Yeah, I'm not. I just have no interest, I guess. I
That's
don't want like.
we take those as pro.
I mean,
We count those.
in Britain, me saying I don't really care is me being pro Meghan Markle. Yeah.
Yeah.
In anywhere else, it means what it is that it's
Anywhere
I
else, it
don't
just
really care.
means anywhere else, it just means you're like part of the consensus. No one else really cares. On that note about Meghan Markle somehow, actually, because in a way, Harry and Meghan are kind of no, never. I'm not even going to try. Um, I hope you enjoyed our episode on Wong Kar-wai's In the Mood for
And if
Love.
you did, let us know. If you didn't, let us know. And if there's another movie you'd like us to talk about, let us know.
Where can they
Or
let
if you
us know all
just
these?
want to share any random thought you have, let us know. Where's the link to let us know?
Where can they let us know all these things, Sean?
The show
Because I don't
notes,
know.
the description.
Great.
Bye.
Bye.